And welcome everyone. You're listening to iTalk 106.7 FM, the voice of the mountain. I'm your host, Janine Ford. So glad you're rolling with us this afternoon. Today I have a great guest. I have Kelly Meixler, and she's a member of the Navajo County Election Integrity Network. Kelly, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. That is great. And the Election Integrity Network, it's a group of citizens that have come together for quite some time and how to improve on our elections. And we know we had some troubles this last time around when we just recently were voting, and some stuff has to be cleaned up, right?
Things do have to be cleaned up, but we have some good news to report. We have actually provided to the county, there were 17 of us who worked together so that we could figure out what happened with those 3,000 ballots from the 2024 general election that were discovered in the Heber Overguard voting center. So we put our heads together. We read through the Navajo County training manual for poll workers, and we found that the elections manual actually has it in there that the poll workers are to leave the unused ballots in the voting center.
Okay.
Which, that's a violation of Arizona ARS 16621. So we came together, we read that, and we wrote new language for the sections that had the incorrect language. We wrote new sections, we sent it into the county, we asked them to make an agenda item for the next Board of Supervisors meeting to vote to adopt our new language. This was a mistake that could have easily been corrected. It hadn't been corrected, and when it appeared, I don't appreciate that Brian Layton blamed poll workers. So those poll workers got together, and they said, now, we did everything by the book. We did everything by the book, but it was the book itself that was inaccurate.
Oh, wow. I see. Wow.
Yeah.
So the poll workers called attention to these problems, and then they got blamed, and then they said, no, these were our instructions right here. There we go.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And
Okay.
It's so important that people work the polls so that we know what's going on. There's a group, our group, the Election Integrity Network. We've been watching our elections for a few years now, and we've identified many problems that can be corrected. And this one, we went so far as to rewriting the county's documentation for vote centers. We had an inspector. We had a bunch of people who had worked this election and worked prior elections and had seen the same problems crop up. And we took the initiative. Nobody paid us. Nobody even gave us a pat on the head. But we sent to the county 5 new documents, 4 that could be adopted and fixed right away. Or if they just want to curb the problem, they could just adopt our addendum and keep their existing documents. But we had noticed things such as our official ballot reports have markings all over them. Somebody is going in and correcting the ballot numbers, how many were provisional, how many were absent, correcting them on the paperwork, and there's no identification of who's doing the correction. So we made it a whole new paper that if there are any changes to be made to the official ballot reports, it would go on this separate document. And we closed the chain of custody on these ballots. So the ballots that were finished or when they were unused at the end of an election, that they get transported and recognized at Central County and in Holbrook that they've received the unused ballots, and those numbers are checked. So we actually have sent this all to the county and asked for them to adopt these new measures, and I'm so grateful to everybody who chipped in and helped, because we can have chain of custody over our elections. This can be better. Our county can do better for the people.
And this is so awesome because it's proactive. You're bringing a solution to a problem so that it closes that whole loophole, right? That's great.
Yes, it's a solution. We didn't just complain. I know people think, hey, they just get up there every week and they complain. No, we try to bring solutions. And this time, it was so clear what had to change. I hope that the county does not push back, but they readily and gratefully, I think they should be grateful to our county's poll workers. They dedicate their time and energy, and they saw the problems that occurred, so they created the solutions.
Very nice. Very nice. Are there other things that you're suggesting to the county to help with our elections?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, I have a few things that I would very much like. I think we should have full facility live streaming. I think we should be able to watch what's going on in the election tabulation room from multiple angles with audio. I think that we should have full public access and archiving so that we can see for 22 months any documents, any queries the citizens have regarding timestamps to those videos. I think there's something where our county could be working with like NPC. We could be partnering with a local tech firm for low-cost upgrades. I'm not asking for the moon. I'm asking for real viewable elections. Like, if you go to other counties, there are cameras all over their elections department, and they're not trying to hide anything. I think our county could do a lot better with their video, with allowing people who can't drive to Holbrook. This is a serious concern for me. In 2024, we documented that people were tabulating ballots without observers present. The only observation we had was people who were watching through the live stream. And I do have questions about this election in 2026. The hand count audit was taking place on the Sunday following the election, and there were 5 to 6 poll workers who were there who could have stayed, but our elections director and deputy director, they tabulated the ballots by themselves. That didn't have to be. We could have followed the law there, but they chose to do it by themselves and not inform our anyone that they were going to be doing the tabulation. I think that is a gross oversight that should be corrected immediately. So I would love for people to go to the Board of Supervisors and say we need more cameras, and we need to make sure that whenever anybody is tabulating ballots, that there are poll observers present.
Yeah, see, that would be wonderful to have all that, those eyes on everything.
Janine.
It's so,
easy fix.
Yes, and cameras are inexpensive now. Yeah, it would be very good. And also, why not? You know what I mean? Why not? That's the biggest thing.
Why aren't they telling Lisa Green of the Navajo County Republican Committee that they are going to be tabulating the ballots? Why are they not informing us?
Because they said we will be there, we will stay, we will be there, and then they waited until they left, and then they did. Yeah.
In 2024, when we recognized they were tabulating without observers, Lisa pushed Raylene Richards and said, hey, if you're going to be tabulating, let us know. And this time around, I was watching the cameras again, and I saw them prepare, and I was like, what's going on here? And I thought, okay, well, the hand count is going on. So they're going to take poll workers after the hand count, and they're going to go tabulate. But then I watched them do it by themselves, and I thought, this is just an unnecessary suspicion. I don't have to be suspicious if you had just followed the law and you had observers present.
Have they said why they did it the same way again? Anybody responded?
They have not. No, they have not. They have not responded to this observation.
Yeah. And what about how do we make sure that every polling location takes identification? Because we heard there were a couple of places that were not even taking identification.
Yes. I mean, that is concerning. It is concerning that we had at least one location where people were just waved through because they were said, oh, well, I know them. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to check the ID and mark it off in the poll pad. And, what can be done, I think that comes down to training, and these people need to be told, you have to show ID.
Yeah.
And that is the inspector, that's everybody. The observers who are present, they have to be told that it's the law, and they have to be trained properly. And I feel it's just a lack of training that those instances occurred.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, that's the thing is if they can just make sure they tighten all this stuff down, they just give everyone total confidence in our elections. We all need to show up in November. This is so important. This is a pivotal election. Every single vote is going to count. We need to shift this tide in Arizona for sure. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more people who are observing our elections, The better our elections run, the more people who show up to work those polls, that care, that follow the law, that's going to make our elections better. I think these additions that the Election Integrity Network put together, it's going to make our elections more secure. And like you said, with those measures adopted, we can have more confidence in our elections.
Right.
I think it's crucial. And, how many times do we have to make the same mistake before we fix it? That's what I want the county to answer. How many times do we have to identify you keep making the same mistakes?
Yeah.
And it's a no-cost solution. Our solution is at no cost to the county. Our 5 documents that we made were made for free. I give them to you. They're marked as samples. You can go ahead and make them official in the stroke of a consent agenda item agreement. Just put it on the agenda. So I'm begging people to go to the Board of Supervisors meeting tomorrow. It's at 9 a.m. You have to sign in that you want to speak. They have they just have a little agenda item attachment, it's like Part B or something that they're going to cover the election business. So you can speak during the call to election or ask to speak during that agenda item. But really, we need people to show up and say, we want you to adopt these new documents. These documents, they close the chain of custody gap that exists because of our own Navajo County election manual that is in violation of federal and state law.
Wow. So hopefully some people will be listening. And guys, show up at tomorrow's Board of Supervisors meeting, okay? And put your name in to speak. And that meeting again is what time tomorrow in the morning?
9 a.m., but you got to show up early enough to fill out a little form that you want to speak.
So maybe be there at 8:30 and just get there and fill your stuff out. It's at Navajo County up there in Holbrook, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Everybody, keep it right here. We're going to continue this conversation with Kelly Meixler, talking about maybe some more items. Hope you're enjoying the show. You're listening to iTalk 106.7 FM, the voice of the mountain. And welcome back, everyone. iTalk 106.7 FM, the voice of the mountain. I'm your host, Janine Ford, talking to Kelly Meixler, and she is a member of the Navajo County Election Integrity Network, and they've come up with some great ideas to clean up, fine-tune and clean up our elections here in Navajo County, which would be great. And you mentioned tomorrow's Navajo County Supervisors meeting, which is tomorrow morning, where people need to attend no matter what your issue is, what your different things are. What other things are they going to be voting on and talking about at tomorrow's meeting?
Well, tomorrow's meeting, it didn't have a lot that triggered me, but one thing got me really agitated. I had never seen a visible competitive solicitation or request for proposal for a production and marketing vendor. But the board is advancing a new contract with the same company that previously received they received a bunch of money, like $45,000 after they dissolved that RealAZ nonprofit they had. And I never saw a bid. This seems to me like a legitimization of their prior arrangements that I just don't feel so good about. Did anybody else see a request for proposal or a bid solicitation for a video marketing company? Tomorrow, it is one of their agenda items. They're going to formalize that relationship with a vote. I think it's quite some money, Janine. It is quite some money, and I feel as though there has to be another production company in Navajo County. I don't know why we're working with this company that's not even a Navajo County company.
Yeah, it should be. They should open it up for all bids, it should be a Navajo County company when they hire outsiders. And I wonder if this is the county that's been handling or helping with the big social media PR stuff they've been trying to put out on renewables.
Well, I don't know, but one of the things that this company did was they put out those Zenny home videos. Cost $8,000 for like a blurb of a video, like a short. I used to work in video marketing, and I'm telling you, I would not have charged $8,000 for the video that they released. Where Preston Raban, the Apache County Economic Development Director, it was published to Facebook. I didn't see it published anywhere else. Maybe it was published to YouTube, but they published to Facebook in December 8th of 2025. Now remember, Zenny Home was already closed, and they had their bond asset sale, their fire sale at the end of the month. Like literally, they're taking whatever else they can still extract from the company because it had been closed already. So they released a video after Zenny Home had been closed, after investigations had been announced. They released this video bragging about what a great partnership RealAZ and Zenny Home are. I mean, it was just, missed the mark of understanding. And I don't think it was worth $8,000. And again, it seems like they're legitimizing this relationship with one of RealAZ's partners. And I don't feel good about it. I think people should go to the Board of Supervisors and ask if this was put up for a competitive bid, or at least deny it until a competitive bid can be run.
And also, why do we need this in our county to promote the things like if this video company starts to promote renewables or starts to promote things that, do you know what I mean? I mean, I
didn't see it as like an agenda item where they discussed it, where they were like, here's what this company has to offer us. No. It was put up like, hey, this company, we want to renew at this price. And it's a lot of money. So I'm just concerned that we've skipped over the process where the county informs the public that we need this company to do this.
And also, what kinds of propaganda? Is it to bolster up RealAZ, which all of us are concerned about, and the dealing with RealAZ and the past? And some people want RealAZ to be investigated. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, and they've been promoting, these big wind turbines and solar fields, and they were a closed group, so they would go and do these promotional videos and all that stuff. Was this the group that produced those videos? I don't know. I'm just saying that, it seems suspicious that we need a big giant PR company that's out of somewhere else, not our county, to be producing videos on behalf of what our supervisors want? I don't know.
Right. I mean, the greatest irony to me was it was supposed to be Navajo County Economic Development, and most of the services, including this one that RealAZ employed, were not from Navajo County. So when they had the opportunity to hire locally, they themselves chose not to. And it's just an insult. It's an insult, and I'd like it to be an agenda item where it's discussed and not an agenda item where it's just approved. So we really, really need people to go to the Board of Supervisors meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and say, hold up, what is this? Before you approve of this, why do we need this?
And that's what needs to happen tomorrow morning.
Because
our tax dollars,
we have to attend.
And I know people
have to attend these meetings.
I know
we have to tell them.
And I know a lot of people are concerned about a lot of stuff like the flock cameras. Was there an agenda item where everybody could discuss flock cameras? And now everybody's asking questions. We have one sheriff, Pinal County Sheriff, that's going to cancel
and Jeff 30, the supervisor from Pinal County. He's been very active. I mean, he's my new favorite supervisor. I just befriended him on Facebook so I could see more of what he thinks. But it shows you that the county has authorities that it has chosen to lay down on. Because the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Robert Black and others, they spoke on flock and they said, we do not want these. They're a violation of our Fourth Amendment. And we've got a couple words back from Daryl Seymour as they are needed for security. Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that I don't believe that they are being used to solve crimes. I think they're being used to track, and too many times we're seeing that they're being used to violate constitutional rights. And I think that it should have been brought to a discussion. It should be its own agenda item where the public hears about flock and the public gets to talk about what they think about APLRs. It's an insult that these things just get approved. They violate our Fourth Amendment, and then the county just shrugs their shoulders. It's needed. I'd also like to hear what Sheriff Klaus has to say about flock and other APLRs like Axum.
Well, and my question, I'm mixed because I have heard of some children being found twice as fast, because of these kinds of cameras. But my question is, and I talked to my cousin, the Maricopa County attorney down there, and I was asking her about some of this, and it does create a quickness in, like, especially children that have been abducted, some of these things. But my question with Flock and all of these other systems, are they is the data with the county, I'm worried that I hear that a lot of these are manufactured in China and the data is out there on the cloud. How long do
unencrypted? Unencrypted. So you hear a lot of stories about people who are hacking into the cameras, into the database, the cloud, as you said. They're hacking in and they're tracking their ex-wives, they're tracking their girlfriends.
Oh, gosh.
A lot of times you hear about these flock cameras, they're in playgrounds. Why? There's no license plates there. So you know that the purpose is not tracking license plates. And it's wonderful if a child is returned, but you also hear stories where a man drove from Illinois to Wisconsin, went to a dispensary, bought weed, came back home, and was arrested when he got home. Because why? He was tracked over states buying cannabis. Like, that's not really what we're doing here, folks, is it? I mean, sure, I haven't heard about children being returned. I have not heard wonderful stories like that. We currently have thousands and thousands of children that went missing under Biden, and I don't hear that they've been returned using Flock. If that was the purpose, to return children, I'd be behind it. But what I hear is more or less, this is a unencrypted cloud that anybody can get access to. So bad people can get access to it, and it doesn't have legal protections so that there's no recourse for people who are suffering because they were tracked by their ex-husband or something. And I just think it should be brought up for a conversation and not just shrugged away like,
right.
This is for security.
Like maybe tomorrow's meeting they could say, are these encrypted? Where is the data stored? How long do you keep it? There's some people I know, some police networks, that they have their own system and they delete everything and it is encrypted. Some people were saying that some have gotten rid of the flock and kind of done their own thing. And we see in the Valley, in Phoenix, you have these different cameras on the intersections that are right with the police department, apparently encrypted too. I don't know, but there are systems out there because, a lot of people, there was the one gal that was it just happened in the last 2 weeks. She was one of the DoorDash drivers, and her 2-year-old was in the back seat, a single mom, and she just dropped it really quick. She thought she locked her car with the air on, quickly ran to the door, ran back, and this guy jumped in and took off, and her little girl was in the back. The cameras, whatever types of cameras they were, just literally had him in 10 minutes right on the road. They caught him immediately.
That's a wonderful use, and I think there are license plate readers, but it is clear that Flock is not for the purpose of just reading license plates. It taps into your phone. It can connect to your Wi-Fi through your phone. It's like a full-on surveillance, and that's scary. Think our Fourth Amendment is worth fighting for, and I hope that people will go to the Board of Supervisors and they will say, we want Flock on the agenda. We want to have a discussion about it. You should give the public a full understanding for something that potentially has such ramifications.
Right, exactly.
And if the county manager would just take a little time and maybe investigate what are license plate readers, what are the camera that other counties are using, or what is Pinal going to do instead of Flock so that they can track license plates. That's what I would like our assistant county manager to do, is to provide information to the public and then give the public a chance to express itself and then the board vote. But I don't even remember when Flock came up I'm someone who pays attention, and I don't remember when they decided to give Flock this. It's like $50,000 a year, this contract, and I didn't see it. I never saw it come up. It had to have, but it must have been an item like this razor-thin media that they're going to approve of tomorrow if people don't show up and say, hey, hold on, was this put up for a competitive bid?
Right. That's another thing, too. Competitive bidding, even on some construction items in all our counties, in Apache County, in Navajo County, are people putting, things up for bid. And the other thing about putting things up for bid, I laugh because they have to put it in, like, sometimes on, say, construction bids. They need to put it in a publication. I found out what happens in some of the teeny towns is they list it in the wampum saver in 2 lines.
My God.
Yes, that's what they do. I'm not saying our county. I'm not saying our
competitive bids where the most people are going to see them.
Yeah.
You know, I see that they use Facebook more than anything else. That's fantastic, guys. Yeah. I'm so glad at Navajo County you're using Facebook. Okay, so that's where you should post things. Yeah. That's where you should post that you have a
and they could say,
proposal.
Up for bid. We've got this. Navajo County's official face, up for bid. We want everyone to bid for the video production. We want everyone to bid for cameras that are, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, then you get all the competitive bids. You know?
But what is it where they hide it in the wampum saver, or they put it in some?
And I'm not saying our county
does. They put
it
on the 7th page in a tiny print. You know, when we were starting to watch the poll working situation, when it was Donna Waschek, who, God bless her, she stood in front of the board and she did this month after month. She said, "You see this little ad that you guys ran? This is tiny. Look at the next page. This huge ad, you know, this tiny ad was for poll workers, but then they had a huge ad for who knows what." It's like our county is clearly showing what it wants and it doesn't want. It doesn't want bids for video production. It doesn't want poll workers when it puts out this teeny tiny little ad, and the next ad they put out is huge and it's for, like, whatever. I don't know if it was like an auction or something. But the point is, like, our county has to have the will that they want the public engaged.
Right.
And
like, we want your input.
To want us engaged, us as the public, we need to be engaged. We need to engage ourselves. We need you guys to show up at the Board of Supervisors meetings. We need you to come tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and say, hold on, did this go up for a competitive bid?
Yes.
Or, hold on, did you agree to put on the consent agenda item these election documents that the Election Integrity Network took their time and energy and gave to you for free? You know, we are open. I'm open to discussing it. So there are several of the members who helped me put these documents together. We're open to meet with the county and give them the documents and have them. I mean, we've already given them to them, but I mean, we're flexible. You know, we saw the problems. We corrected the problems. We just need the county to have the willingness to want to help, to want to correct its mistakes.
Right, exactly. Well, okay, everybody. Last reminder, tomorrow morning, Navajo County Board of Supervisors meeting. Be there and put yourself on if you want to talk about any of these items to the county and have your voices heard. Kelly Meixler, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Janine. I appreciate you so much.
You have a great evening. All right, everybody, keep it here. iTalk 106.7 FM, the voice of the mountain.